Already have Space Station Gaming and Rogue playing each other on the mainstream, and now it is time to watch Immortals and Team Empire fight for control of the opening map and see which one will gain an advantage to push them further.
Very exciting, and I was right. We are starting on Clubhouse. So that's good. I was terrified. I really was terrified, but as suspected, we are going to have a Maverick ban. Maverick, a very, very important hard breach due to the fact that he has a torch that can melt through walls even though they're electrified. And he's a big player on Clubhouse due to the fact of multiple walls on the outside of the building having high impact on sites, specifically the server wall on server cache room.
Yeah, very much a lot of holes you basically can't prevent from being breached is with further control of the map, so it's better to knock him out and play it safe. Thatcher will be the second one, and it's, again, going to help out the defenders quite a bit, as now any of those walls that end up electrocuted, assuming we don't see Bandit knocked out, of course, which is now very likely, I would say, with Thatcher getting knocked out, but we'll see that in a second, will obviously make the attacking side even more difficult to play off of.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about how creative bans have gotten here at Invite. We haven't really seen that too much online, and this is really what I wanted to see. I wanted to see the bans get more creative on maps and really go to map specifics, not, oh, I really just don't want to play against Mira. Speaking of Mira, speak of the devil, and she shall rise, and there you go. So we're going to have no Mav, no Thatch, no Bandit, and no Mira for our first match between map between Immortals and Team Empire on Clubhouse. So with that ban, this is going to be a pretty creative set here on this Clubhouse map.
Obviously, the Thatcher and Bandit bans kind of cancel each other out a little bit there, so Attack should still have a pretty straightforward time of breaching those outside walls, since they can still just bring a pretty straightforward form of hard breach, as we see with the Thermite coming in there, and Hibana as well, since neither of those got knocked out. So the outside walls are going to be easy. It's obviously just the further control you need to get in the sometimes very, very tight hallways that we have in this map. That is obviously going to be the issue for the attacking team, and we'll get into it now. The first round beginning. We're actually going to be starting on the second floor instead of going down to the basement for the first one.
Honestly, I'm not too surprised, just due to the fact that this site is a pretty good comfort pick. A lot of people really enjoyed, especially after Mav getting banned out there. So Mav is such an impact operator on this site, and he can really mess up an entire defensive setup just due to the fact of that torch being able to cut through that wall, get rid of any bandits or mutes. And you can really capitalize on that after they get that wall open. It can happen almost instantaneously, as we've seen from previous matches. But traditional setup here by Empire going to be reinforcing the bottom of garage so that they can hold the upstairs catwalk.
So with the final preparations coming in, Immortals are going to be let out in just a second. Empire very much trying to deny intel with the mute positioning coming out here and trying to stop drones from having effectiveness in clearing this out. So we'll see if Empire tries to play this a little bit more aggressively at all, or if they're just going to play a more standard pacing for this site.
I believe the thought process behind this initially is just going to be feel out Immortals, because again, they don't scrim, they don't really do anything with Brazil until they get to lands like this. So it is going to be more or less just trying to figure out what your opponent is going to be doing and what their pacing is going to be on things, and trying to adjust to that. And Empire's been very good at that so far this year, but again, they've really only been in EU, and Brazil has a complete different play style, especially with how aggressive the top three teams are in that region.
Yeah, and you can very much expect that, I think, when it comes down to most cross-regional matchups. Oh, unless there is a history there. Joystick, however, as we've come to expect, is going to start things off with a bang, running around on the Jaeger. Finds a quick pick against Navis and knocks out the Ash before she even has a chance to even shoot a bullet.
Very inconvenient there for Immortals, but that is just the Ash. So not too much utility gone, but it's not exactly how you want to start off a match. Joystick's going to stay downstairs as well. Still hasn't been droned out, as it does seem like Cyber is going to start trying to do that right now. But if they allow Joystick to stay alive, he definitely will continue to impact this round. He is not afraid to take those gunfights.
Joystick already slowly making his way back up top here as well. So he's back on the first floor now. We'll see in a second. It looks like he is pushing in a little bit further. He's not going to necessarily be able to have an immediate opportunity to cross through on this doorway, but we'll see. It's actually looking like he's going to make the run out, reach the other door, makes a lot of noise there, so he's going to fall back into the safety of the kitchen just for right now. And we'll see, as he more than likely will try to make that transition once the chaos of this actual execute begins. There's still plenty of time for Immortals, though. They've got themselves set up to breach. The problem is, with assumably no drone intel on the inside there, it's going to prove much more difficult, actually, to figure out what the site setup is looking like once they go for the breach on that wall. And you could even see the Thermite deciding to cancel it, as they were ready to go in a moment ago, but decided against that.
Karzeka absolutely tanking shots from Cyber's OTS 03. Is Cyber still trying to find him, but these bolts will not connect through that tight area. And Shockwave with a fantastic nitro will find the glass, and this is not looking too hot for Immortals. Empire just showing too much aggression towards them right now, as M-King as well as PX are trying to find any scraps that they can pick up from this round, and it seems like that's really not going to happen. Shockwave going to put M&K down, as well as Karzeka going to peek out on a PX and clean up the first round for Team Empire. The sole hard breachers all left alone. Nothing really to come of it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, obviously still the full setup alive and well inside of the garage there, and time starting to work against the players of Navi, or excuse me, wow, that was big misquote, excuse me, against the players of Immortals.
It happens.
Navi's is on Immortals, excuse me. But yeah, we will see Empire shut things down relatively easily there when it comes down to the actual execute and claim their first round on the cache site. Now they'll head down to the basement to play into here.
I mean, this is honestly, initial thoughts on this is just that Immortals kind of seems scared to really take any pressure away from Empire. They got that initial frag, Joystick gets that entry frag onto the Ash, and right when Navi's goes down, everything slows down for Immortals. They just completely halt. They're like, okay, somebody's dead, we have to stop moving. And that's not the way that you want to be. They needed to capitalize on Joystick. They knew he was on blue stairs. They needed to get rid of that roamer. They allowed Joystick to have too much pressure early on, and that is really what bit them, because they were just terrified for half of that round on, okay, where's Joystick? We don't have any drones on him.
Yeah, and as you said, without any drone presence or anything, like, he just had free reign, so he really could have been anywhere on the map by the end of it, and they had to be very cautious of that. It ended up costing them too much time. Even though it was only really a single kill picked up by him, the impact that it had eventually would end up leading them into a round win. So, as I said before, into the basement now for the guys on Team Empire. Second more easy site to defend. They'll get a little bit harder after this, of course, if they're able to close down on this one, but we'll see what Immortals bring to the table as well to try to counter this. We talked about it in the pregame. We kind of expect them to start out slow, and that last round definitely aligned with that, especially as you were mentioning after the death of Navi's. Now it's time to see if they maybe want to speed things up a little bit here. Now they've had a chance to feel out Empire for a round. May still be a little bit too early from that, but we should start to see that progression towards a slightly more aggressive play style as Immortals get more comfortable here in future rounds.
I completely agree with that. I think their main thing right now is they really need to play a little bit more together. Navi's being all on his own with no one to potentially refrag him is definitely going to be punishing, because Joystick is not going to halter on this roam game. That's just his thing. He's always consistent pressure, as well as Karzeka. That is what those two are known for, and they're going to continue to do that even if they get droned out, just like right now. Going to rotate or even hold the staircase is Joystick. He's going to contest, which again, surprising. You don't see much people do this.
He's got two different players as well.
Exactly, he's got his ADS here. He's just gonna take his time and possibly win a gunfight, but no, he's gonna get absolutely ripped from Oil Pit.
It was actually really well executed by Immortals. I think once they figured out he was in there, because Navi's had already been inside of Oil Pit for a pretty long time. They were just holding him there. They weren't moving him forward any further. They, I think, are able to force Joystick back with the two-man pressure coming from either side of his position on the blue steps there. And obviously he falls back thinking he's still going to be safe, but with Navi's taking that very aggressive position in Oil Pit, it's an easy cutoff and an easy free kill for these guys to get a 5v4 advantage at the start. Still just under 2 minutes on the clock as well. So plenty of time for these guys to lead up into an execute still.
Yeah, they still have to maintain some kitchen pressure here. I don't believe Bullet has rotated over there just yet to skeleton key that open, but they do have Karzeka playing inside of Moto, and that pulse scanner is so good at getting that information on where they're going to be pushing from, because currently it does look like they are going to be going for a main stairs / armory push. This PK is going to try and burn away some ADSs. Bullet will take up the angle to try and prevent anything from impacting that hatch. And just as soon as I say that, it's going to get impact tricked. So, since Hibana's update, or nerf if you want to call it, you have to have 4 pellets on the hatch to open. It used to be 6 after they initially changed it, and they're like, that's kind of a bad idea, because if one impacts the ground wrong and goes away, can't get the hatch open, but now it is 4, and that's why you guys see that little tiny hole that Shepard's currently peeking through.
So the first being denied, of course, the first attempt at popping the hole open. As you mentioned, only one was actually broken. Meanwhile, the bar hatch that leads down over here to Memorial, well, that one's long gone, and this is going to give access to these guys. Navi's with a nice spot, eliminates the goo mine onto the floor. He won't be able to find the angle just yet, despite him having Shockwave just behind that reinforced wall. Scyther, in the meanwhile, will pick up the first kill for Empire on this round by knocking out Navi's and eliminating that pressure from the execute.
and 24 seconds left on the clock. They do have the Jackal track going down onto Shockwave, but Shockwave being very persistent behind the bar. They also have pressure over inside of blue, as you guys can see with our X-ray vision. Actually, Shockwave playing inside of there. I do believe it's actually Karzeka playing it behind the bar, and it is. But they are going to just continuously pressure this Moto door until they have to eventually push. Shockwave has a perfect angle, whipping out the impacts to do consistent damage, and Scythe are going to go massive with 3 headshots, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you start things off on a game of Clubhouse.
2 very solid holds in a row coming out here from Empire. Unfortunately, Immortals just really struggling to be able to get that early map control they need to lead into a site, and oftentimes it's like 2 rounds in a row now being forced into a 30-second or less execute for themselves. Just not enough time to get onto the site, and nowhere near enough damage in the previous portions of the round to where they would make it an easy execute for themselves at such a low time position. So Immortals right now either needing to speed the execute up overall or just find a more efficient way to try and knock out Team Empire's roamers in the early round, because right now they are not handling that well.
Yeah, they had that initial frag on a Shockwave, and I believe that you thought that they were really going to be picking up steam right there, because I did. That's truly what I thought. And it just seems like they just get terrified of where this roam game is possibly coming from. I mean, really all it takes is just set up a flank drone, have somebody that's dead watch it, or have somebody that, you know, really doesn't have to do anything yet watch it, and then your roam's fine. The roam's fine. Yeah. But it seems like right now that constant pressure that Empire's putting on this roam game is really affecting the mind space of Immortals. They really need to get past that, because they cannot continue to attack this site with 20 seconds left.
I mean, at one point it seemed like anyway they had full control of blue after they managed to take down Joystick at the beginning of the last round, but we never really saw them push for it. Navi's never actually pushed inside of the main blue room as far as I could tell. They eventually all just fell back and tried to play towards bar and kitchen side, where they struggled to get the hatch open inside of kitchen. They got the bar hatch open, but couldn't really safely get all their players down to the inside of the site. As a result of that, ended up getting wiped off. The triple kill coming out from one of Empire's players.
It's just a very, very weird thing. I mean, you gain all that control of blue, and then you just let it go by the wayside, which is really weird, because Shockwave even rotated back in there. They knew that there was no one in blue, so it's not like you really accomplished anything by taking that pressure away, because they just immediately took it back once you alleviated it.
Yeah, pretty much. And he just goo-mined up the entire area as well. So if they were going to try to go back in there for the execute, it wouldn't have worked, as they allowed the Legion to retake control, and I think he had like 5 or 6 goo lines on blue steps by the end, so if anyone did go down there, they probably wouldn't have fared too well. Of course, Empire gets an easy detection as to the next site. Or excuse me, Immortals get the easy detection on the next site, since Empire is still playing the standard rotation right now. They're not going to be too crazy and head over to bar. So we are over here at the bedroom site instead now for the 3rd round.
Looks like they are going to have a makeshift bandit trick, if you guys want to accept that as something, even though he is banned. But they basically have the shield in the castle here to prevent anybody from opening up the window and shooting one of Scyther's mute jammers that's currently on the wall. So this is going to be kind of difficult for them to get rid of, because they really don't have anything in their offensive lineup that can really handle that. No Twitch, no nothing. But Shockwave going to find Sledge. It's going to be no more nades except for Buck.
And obviously again with the Thermite being banned out, we don't have that as the easy option to get rid of these either. So you are not going to be left with a clean option to get through this wall necessarily, making things a little bit more harder for the attackers on a map that's already proven very difficult for the attackers in the past. Joystick, however, once again starts things off with a bang. The run outside nets him an early kill, with already another player gone down as well. Immortals continue to look weak in the early rounds here on attack, so they're down to a 3v5, still over a minute remaining.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Habanagon as well. Bullet trying to get the mute jammer, and he finally will, but look at the time right now, ladies and gentlemen. 1 minute and 10 seconds, wasting almost 2 entire minutes just trying to get Jacuzzi wall open is not really what you want to see if you're trying to win that round. That is a lot of time wasted, and 2 picks already, just by Joystick and Shockwave taking appropriate peeks at the proper times. And right now, this is not looking good for Immortals.
They still have to drone, that's the thing. As you can see exactly what Thermite's doing right now. They still don't know what the setup looked like after they pop that wall open, so they have to spend another 20 seconds droning it out. They move in. Finally, some success found from Cyber, as he's able to knock out Scyther, but you've got Shockwave waiting on this push right now. In fact, he's going to get aggressive with it. Wraps around the corner, manages to catch Bullet off guard, quickly falls back to the safety of the shower. And we are going to start to see him moving forward even more. Problem is he'll step slightly into the gas as he does so. Meaning the trade will come in from M King, bringing this down into a 2 versus 3. Still favored for Empire, especially with the timer. And now it's very much on Immortals to make the final move.
Yeah, they have to get this push off. So much utility wasted. All the smokes off of Cyber gone. No more stunts for MK. Joystick going to find Cyber, though, and it's going to be all left up to M and Kane inside of the shower. 9 seconds left on the clock. Not much success to find. Is getting smoked out, but he's going to find Karzeka. Exit frags don't mean too much, though, ladies and gentlemen, as he is going to pull out the pistol and try and find one more. But round number 3 going to Team Empire anyways.
And once again, that's another very solid defense, in my opinion, put up by Empire. We haven't even seen Immortals attempt a plant yet, let alone get even close to it. So we are going to see Immortals call for a timeout now. Very understandably so, because like I said, they haven't even really gotten close to a plant or near a win state as of yet. They are really struggling. And for those of you who might be newer to Siege, when you win a site on defense, it is locked for 2 rounds. And since CCTV and Cash Room was the original site, and we've played 2 rounds since Empire originally won it, they now have it unlocked again, and they're about to go back to it once we unpause.
Yeah, I think the main thing for Immortals right now is they're just not playing their aggressive playstyle. They don't even look like the same team right now at all. I mean, again, as we discussed, Brazil is a very aggressive region. And that's basically what all of their teams are based off of. FaZe, very aggressive, but they play with more knowledge than they do just straight power. Liquid, more or less the same. Immortals is still getting there in terms of these other teams. Liquid kind of fell by the wayside last season, but Immortals stepped up. But it seems like Liquid really has come back to form since picking up Gohan. Immortals right now does not look like the same Immortals that we were seeing in Brazil. I can definitely tell you that. They just need to work a little bit more together on their roam clear. I mean, their roam clear is really where they're getting bit.
Yeah, unfortunately that, and as well, the fact that they're having so much trouble with the roam clear also means that when it comes time for them to execute, they're usually doing it with very little intel. We saw it there at the end. They had used like 20 seconds out of the minute they had if they got the wall open to just a drone out the top, since the mute jammers were blocking, doing that through normal means earlier on in the round. So wasting just a lot of time doing that. And I imagine that was an issue on the previous 2 rounds as well, lack of intel going into the sites, which led to them just getting cleaned up round after round after round again when they've attempted executes.
Yeah, very punishing. They keep continually bringing the same lineup. Like, there's not much of a flex in their operator choices at all. And again, they know more or less which site they're going to be attacking. It's all been defensive wins, so they know where they're going to. They really just haven't brought anything to really change that up. We haven't really seen, you know, a Glass flex. We had Glass 1 time already, but besides that, we really haven't seen Glass. There's so many other operators on offense right now that they can pick up to try and help their situation. They're just not doing it. That seemed to line up pretty well, though, with what you see in their online play. They're usually on attack. They're pretty, you know, locked into their operator lineup. It seems like they have like a very set plan for how they want to work with their operators. So it doesn't surprise me too much that they're shifting away from that. Just the fact that, again, things clearly aren't working and they're not trying to shift in order to compensate for that. That's going to become the issue, especially after this round, since now at least we're heading on to repeated sites. So we would hope they would have gathered some intel in the first time this was played and try to counter that out. But we don't know yet, just because it was so one-sided the first time we saw Empire defend this site. So now they're going to get their second chance at it, and of course a chance to swing up to 4, 5, or even 6 rounds if they can repeat all of these sites again. I'm very curious to see if they're going to try and handle Joystick downstairs again, if he even roams down there again. It's a big thing, especially trying to just lock down this roam game, as we've been discussing basically this whole time. But I mean, that is really the main crux of this whole thing. Joystick and Karzeka really have had just so much pressure for free, and they're really not doing anything about it. I know that they're bringing the Jackal to try and alleviate some of that, but even a flex to Dokkaebi Jackal, that's basically a straight up roam clear extremely easily. You got a phone vibrating in their pocket, you have them tracked. Not very difficult to do, but it does seem like they are pretty hard stuck in their ways on this operator lineup. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to try and do, if they're going to try and just focus on it purely and try and get rid of Joystick, or really what's going to happen with this round, because right now is really where they need to set the tone. If they let this go up 6-0 on defense, it is going to be a hard-fought match trying to get this back.
So Navi's quickly popping open the window by Blue steps, but misses. Joystick from down below only sees his head as well before it's taken off of his own body. Navi's going down again. Same exact, I think very similar position as well to where he died on the first time this round was played. Just outside of the window this time, where I think he was inside last time in the next room. This time he gets even less further than he did on the first round.
I mean, it's just click head, smile. I mean, come on, that's all you got to do. That's it. I mean, it just peeks, immediately removes his head form, just like that.
If you can click
just like that, bullet.
If you can click a link, you can click ahead.
Yeah, exactly. If you can click a link, you can click ahead. Joystick's proving it right now. He's even Jackal tracked, ladies and gentlemen. He's Jackal tracked and he's running towards danger. This man has no fear. No fear at all.
Once again, already having it down to a 5v3, and it's same as previous rounds, very similar time point too. Just under 2 minutes they've got it at this point. Immortals obviously are still struggling to just get inside of the building, let alone actually get close to a site. We will see finally a trade from them, however, as Cyber has some luck. He's able to knock out Scyther, taking him down, but an immediate trade back comes in from Shockwave. Up on top of the site, I believe, through the floor paneling as well. Finds PX, taking him down, and leaving only Cyber and M-King alive for Immortals.
I like that they threw in a little bit of verticality right there to try and help the roam game over near the lounge area. Very smart. They're finally getting the garage open. This has not been touched the entire time, finally getting that open to where they can hold the angle up on the catwalk or get some other pressure other places. Now, no nades on the offense, so Karzeka is pretty safe right here. He's going to take some aggressive peeks as he's, oh my goodness, what a close gunfight, and Cyber's going to win it out. 2v2 as we are just under a minute. This is definitely winnable for Immortals as, oh my goodness, Shockwave almost has his head removed for him, but he's going to treat M&K to the exact same fate that he was trying to give to him. It's going to be all left up to Cyber with no HP, and Shepard going to make quick work of that one for 4 in a row for Team Empire.
Definitely some good stuff from Cyber there. Finally able to isolate out players and playing it to a good pacing as well to where they could actually do that. I think Empire is finally getting a little bit aggressive to the point where Immortals is able to abuse that a little bit, and they definitely did that, at least in Cyber's case, as he picked up 3, if not 4 kills on that round there. So good stuff from him. Just not enough coming out from the other players at this point. Meaning Empire will continue to run the gauntlet. 4-0 for them, 2 wins in a row on the cache site. And now they're going to be heading down to basement again.
I'm not going to lie, I'm very surprised by this roam game. Because Clubhouse is a very hard map to roam on and do it successfully, especially if that's their main thing that they're trying to handle. It's like, okay, we need to clear the roamers out. We're just going to take Jackal, Doke, or really whatever we need in order to get rid of that roamer. And it's very hard because there's only 2 staircases, and once you're on the floor and they have both of those locked off, it's just you versus the world. And Joystick's done a very, very good job so far of just alleviating pressure on that roam game. They're really just giving it to him for free.
Yeah. The Jackal played by Cyber, I really think it's been their best chance to actually stop this roam game so far, and that was primarily what he did in the last round. If you notice, and if I saw correctly, I believe we saw most of the players in previous rounds have been going in like only 1 or 2 spots. Immortals have been doing a very focused push in the past. This time they kind of sent the Jackal on his own over to the other side of the map and start clearing things out from there. And like we saw, yeah, obviously they had a pretty good idea of success and eventually would even come in through the blue steps to get into garage to try and help pinch the players that were still inside of their outs. They're getting closer. The problem is they're taking far too long to make these adjustments, and even if they start winning rounds now, a 4-2 half in the favor of Empire is still definitely going to be in their favor in my eyes, considering their strength on the attacking side.
Yeah, and that's really the mantra about Clubhouse, is really just being able to make those decisions quickly on what you want to take. If there's too much pressure on the one side, you need to make the adjustment quickly enough to have the time to do the take on the other side. Their issue right now is that the roam game is having so much effect on their time to where they're like, okay, we're finally going to get onto site, but there's a minute left. Oh no, wait, we can't get in on this side. We're going to have to go to the other side, and now we have 15 seconds. And 15-second pushes typically don't work. It just doesn't. There's too much utility on defense for that to work out.
Yeah, very much the case, especially with how little, especially in the first 2 or 3 rounds here, that Empire was even being stressed or tested whatsoever because of how effective that roam game was. So once again, it's going to be Navi's moving in relatively quickly here to take control. He's going to get some assistance on the Jackal track. He's got a location for 1 player. If he does peek for the right side, should be an easy kill. Reconfirms the position. He knows he hasn't ditched over towards the oil pit, which would be a very dangerous move for that player.
I'm very interested to see if they have a camera up here or something. What is Joystick currently looking at? They have an Echo inside trying to help out Joystick. Very smart. That's being played by Karzeka, which is a typical duo of Joystick, as they're trying to just dig him out of this hole that is blue right now. Throwing stuns and basically the kitchen sink at him right now, as he will just rotate out freely and burn a ton of utility in the process. Going to get tagged up a little bit as well. But about halfway through and still dealing with blue. And this has kind of just been the storyline of this entire match. But they actually have rotated people over to main stairs. So this is a good adjustment as a pre-fire will come out. No bullets are going to make any contact with each other except for the ones that are going to tag up Joystick. And he will go down. Karzeka's confirming if someone's going to try and push that out. He's not, as he will get picked up.
So Joystick almost certainly going to be brought back into the fight. We should see that in just a moment here. And he is now back up. Empire again, still ready to hold. It does seem as though Immortals have finally got the memo that they really need to speed their executes up, if not at least start putting pressure on the site earlier on in the round. They're doing exactly that now, with Buck doing a little bit of reconstruction from inside the next room over. Cyber will find quite a bit of success actually in pushing himself forward. Once again, finding it on that Jackal, manages to get control of the main stairs, moves himself down. A lot of walls broken open, so there's a chance for him to maybe find some headshots, but he's got to be careful, because remember, he's alone down here right now. No other assistance from his teammates. Closest with players like Navi's that are ready to move down a hatch. A nice spot, some good patience, but no kill. That player from Empire will be able to escape, running away into a safe position, and again, delaying the push for Immortals.
Shockwave able to stay alive inside of blue, and this is going to be the biggest thing about this round. They have to try and dig him out of here just due to the fact that he can have pressure over on Moto Door, where you guys are going to be seeing Navi's as well as Cyber as they are trying to contest the church wall. They need to get this wall burnt open with MK as they are starting to work on the barbed wire across. Shockwave will pop open the wall to blue. He's going to commit some impacts. He's going to do a little bit of damage as he pre-fires, but he's playing it safe, trying to play his life, but no, Bullet's going to find him as he drops the hatch. Scyther, as well as Karzeka, going to follow that up. The plant's going down. MK, this plant's about halfway through. Karzeka going to try and stop it, but he can't see a single thing, and the Echo's not going to make contact. Yokai drone not going to have any effect. It's all left up to Karzeka as well as Shepard. This MK is going to be the last one alive, playing the main stairs, and no, Karzeka is going to find him on the rotate, and that's going to be 5 in a row for Team Empire on this defense.
Immortals finally gaining some traction through the main stairs, able to push themselves into the site. Their very first plant of the entire half of themselves, but pressured themselves too much, lost too many players on the execute. And for the two that stayed alive, didn't even really seem to get into great post-plant positions. So both were caught off guard, both were shot down without any damage being traded onto the respective player they were dueling. And once again, it is going to be Team Empire that takes yet another defensive round here, and will head on to their last one. Their second attempt at the gym bedroom site. The first was a success, and we'll see if they can pull off that perfect half at 6-0. If they can do it a second time.
5-1 isn't the worst thing to happen on Clubhouse. You know, it happens pretty often. It's either 5-1 or 4-2, typically speaking. Anything less than that is just a very bad defensive half for your team. But the one thing I will say is that the adjustments made by Immortals right there were good. They were able to finagle their way onto site there, but nothing really coming of it. I like the smoke plays. They burned the ADSs, got smokes down in sight, able to get the plan off. But the issue that they really had was that pressure from blue just maintained it to where there was just not enough time, and the players were just so spread thin on that side. And especially, actually over on the main stair side, they were just so compacted together in that hallway, they just got picked apart. I mean, it was very, very easy for the defense. But this will be the last defensive round before we switch sides, where Empire will be on offense and Immortals will be on defense, respectively. And we'll see if Empire is able to come out 6-0 already, which that's definitely not something, even though it is Clubhouse and this is the defensive side of map, that's nothing to shake your head at.
Yeah, for Immortals, of course, the key here is going to be, assuming they go about it the same way, is going to be trying to get that sidewall open in a much faster fashion. It took them to right around a minute, if I recall correctly, back on the last time we saw this site get played before they actually got the wall open, and then they had to waste an additional 20 or 30 seconds actually droning the site out because they weren't able to do that previously due to the effective positioning from the mute jammers and the fact, of course, that they did not manage to bring a twitch or anything to the table. And they still have not done that, of course, so those same issues are going to be present. Of course, if they're able to nade trick a little bit better this time, they might have some better success. In fact, it does look like, however, they might be taking a different route entirely, so I'll have to pay attention to the strat from Immortals here.
Yeah, and I know the one thing that's discussed a lot is, okay, well, why do you guys focus so much on time? Why is time so important? Well, the reason that time is so important in this game is due to the fact of utility. The German flag dancing over Shockwave a little bit as he's going to throw it on the ground. I'm sorry, Germans. That's nothing that we chose.
Can he, like, creep under that and push forward with it, maybe? Just use his mobile cover?
Use his mobile cover? Yeah, the mobile German flag?
That would work. Think anyone would notice? That's like the box in Metal Gear. I don't know how effective it is in multiplayer.
Yeah, there's a German soccer ball flag just rushing me. I really don't know what's happening right now. If somebody could assist.
You only need that split second of confusion, right? That's when you shoot him, man.
Exactly. Maybe we could punch a hole in it. It just uses a Blackbeard shield on defense.
So it does look like they managed to get the wall open in much faster pace this time. Immortals already having access to the hallway with still just under 2 minutes remaining. It should be a much healthier push overall, assuming they don't get massively delayed at that entry.
Yeah, and it appears to me that Scyther's trying to use cut right now because he just has this shotgun right on this angle, and at any point in time, if someone tries to peek him, they're just going to get absolutely deleted. This shotgun is so good in this close range. Appeared to be a nade coming through that is going to break the kitchen sink. You hate to see that. I'd say they toss in the kitchen sink at him, but you can't anymore. It's broken. So
he will lose about 25 HP from that exchange, but nothing too major. It's about a bullet or two less that he's going to be able to take in the engagement. He only needs those quick peeks with a shotgun anyway, so not too big of a deal for Scyther to deal with in the late round. Again, here's this delay that we were talking about from Immortals. They're having so many issues getting in because they know Scyther's going to be around the corner. Scyther is going to get droned out. They know for sure he's in that corner now. They had a good feeling about it before. Now, Scyther, of course, is going to have to play a little bit more mobily. He's expecting that peak to come in at any moment. He knows that they've had issues with their execute timing as well. So we should expect them to push it at any moment, but it's going to be Shepard that strikes first down the hallway. So it's going to eat a little bit of smoke damage, pushed into a corner. The flashes will work to pick up the kill. Bullet, M-King, and Bullet again, all finding frags. The Immortals pick up a massive amount of impact. It's down to Karzeka and Shepard, who already took massive damage from the previous fight. Lurks in, nearly lines up a kill, but M-King comes out on top once again. Karzeka trying to peek in, does some good damage, and in fact brings one player down, but he'll be caught on the rotate by Cyber. And finally, after 5 rounds straight from Empire, Immortals will pick up one of their own just before they switch sides.
It's all in that gunfight between Shockwave and Bullet. If Bullet loses that entire offensive push just falls apart because they don't have control of Bathroom. And oh man, that flash timing was just so poor for Shockwave. You almost feel bad for him, but that will be what we typically see, which is 5-1 on Clubhouse. Again, it is usually 5-1 or 4-2. So Immortals is, well, excuse me, Empire's not out of the woods yet. Immortals can definitely bring this back, but Empire only has to find 2 rounds. That's it to win this first map.
Joystick going to be on the Jackal to start things off as well compared to his usual, so they as well are definitely going to try to prioritize, I think, knocking out some of the roamers early on in the round here with that choice.
Only at 60%. You don't want to see me at 100. That's what he's saying right now. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. This is not even my final form, is what he's thinking to himself.
So similarly to the folks on Team Empire, Immortals is also going to choose to start out here at CCTV Cash Room. We should expect a very similar way that round will play out as well. Of course, a little bit of a different lineup coming in from Empire with the Capitao and Zofia coming into the mix. I don't believe we were seeing that utilized too much by the Immortals. So a little bit of a different flair to Team Empire's attack as they take the reins to try and close this game out. Reminder, they only need 2 rounds now at 7 to win this.
5 seconds left before.
And I'm very surprised that we didn't see much Capitao by Immortals. Well, due to 2 things. 1, Capitao is Brazilian. I mean, come on. And 2,
I suppose.
and 2, he completely counters ADSs. That's what they have for all of those nades and everything. You can burn people out of corners. We saw it once. We saw Capitao once, I do believe.
Well, it's not only that, right? It's when you think about the amount of times that Immortals got held up by like 1 or 2 players that was around a corner or something like that, and you think of how useful Capitao would have been in those situations. Shepard with a nice catch as well, manages to catch Bullet just outside of the window there. And again, we'll give Empire a good start to the round at another 5v4 as they do their first attacking round here.
Excuse me, sir, what are you doing? I don't really know. Bullet just like, I think he heard somebody on rappel and he hopped,
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that Shockwave was just extremely close to the top of the roof, and they still had Shepard over there on the balcony of the broken building. And that's just, Bullet's a little bit too aggressive to start your guys' defensive terror right now, because you guys are down quite a few rounds.
Well, he's not the only one.
Yeah, no, man. I guess they're like, hey, we can get really aggressive on defense, and it's just not working for him, because Empire's actually taking this pretty slow.
And obviously, the meanwhile, of course, is trying to inch out, see if you can get any intel about what's going on outside. I mean, some, of course, Immortals still waiting in the garage for that push to come in from Empire. They are finally going to pop open the garage hatch here. Give them a little bit of room to play with, and I don't believe there's any reason why that would be stopped. So they've got their route in. Now it's about the actual push. With already 1 kill into their favor, it certainly made the garage push easier. They've got to try to fish out for intel first before they commit themselves to it. And actually, it does look like the breach got denied for the most part. Nicely done. Only pops open a hole in the corner instead.
Shepard's going to commit some impacts, it seems, to the catwalk, trying to disrupt any little bit of thing that Meister is going to try and do up there. And he actually does have some concussions as well, which I was very worried about there for a second, because I had 0 on there for a second. But no, he does have 2 of those concussions. But right now, Immortals in a pretty good spot on this defense. Still have control of garage, which is the main crux to this site, as well as they do still have quite a bit of pressure on the main cache stairs.
And Empire, meanwhile, obviously besides the kill that they've gotten against Bullet, they haven't really found a whole lot of impact just yet. We are going to see a fighter up, though, as Shockwave picks up another kill, catches Navi. He's trying to push him inside of the stairs unsuccessfully. M-King, in the meanwhile, is not going to be punished at all by the Capitao fire bullets. As a result of that, still can hold the position inside of garage. Time is starting to get low, and Empire knows it. They're going to try to go for their push. PX finding a shot on the shotgun, though, continuing to just toss smokes to the inside to keep him held back. But you can see there's not a whole lot of vision to be working in his favor. Cyber, in the meanwhile, will pick up another one, and PX even gets one with the smoke. So Empire down to only 2 now. After a successful start to this round ahead, they've lost 3 players out of nowhere and don't really have time to execute now. Just under 20 seconds remaining.
everything really falling apart for them as they all try to just rush through construction. It's really those toxic babes that burnt them alive right there. As Shepard is going to get completely lit up, tries to pull out the Legion, but MK going to find him, as well as PX going to find Karzeka. And Immortals going to start the defensive off right with their first round win on defense.
Yeah, and like I said, despite the early losses that we ended up seeing from Immortals there, the site players did a fantastic job, especially the smoke, saving all the toxic babes for the very end of the round there. That was the main reason why Empire weren't able to push into the site. But that again comes back to a very similar issue that Immortals had, and that Empire in that first round just don't throw enough pressure at the site until the late round, and as a result of that, it's very easy for Smoke to hold that off since they had a one-dimensional push there.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that is to talk about that is that if you give your site players just a minute left, then you had a successful roam. You don't have to kill anybody. You really don't have to do anything at all. You really just have to show your face and go, hey, I'm here, chase me. That's really your job as a roamer. Not too many people discuss that. That is your main thing. The main thing inside of Rainbow Six on defense is how much time can you waste before they get to site. And that's really what you want to do. And they did a fantastic job of that, and that's really what won on the round. Your site utility is always going to be what wins you the round at the end of the day if they're trying to execute on the site. And if you have none of it, i.e. like Oregon basement, where you try and burn off all those toxic babes initially, once those toxic babes are gone, all you have is nitro cells. And if you have enough time to burn all that utility, that's an easy peasy plan.
So we go to the basement for our second site, again following the usual rotation here on Team Immortals' side now as they try to round to come back, and we'll have to be just as successful, if not further, than we saw from Team Empire. It's certainly a good start, that's for sure. Much more solid than we were seeing on their attacking sides. They were finally starting to piece things together towards the end of that first half, but very much struggled with those first 4 rounds or so. Here we go, though. Empire now out onto the board. And we'll see if they have better success with an attack on the basement side. Already changing up their lineup a little bit here, too. Now bringing a Twitch into the fold this time. Something that Immortals probably could have used on a couple of rounds, but decided against. Empire's not going to take that chance.
I'm very surprised at that as well, just due to the fact that she basically is the only operator now that can get rid of anything for you. I mean, you have IQ, but there's not too much vertical pressure on this map. I mean, you have armory that you can shoot to the floor, but Church, completely solid. So you really can't have any effect unless you get a Twitch drone in there, and that's what they're going to try and do now. But the main thing about that is PX on that mute is going to be a very daunting task for Scyther on these drones.
Scyther, though, it's going to be moving in regardless, takes quick control of the garage to start off the attack for these guys. He'll find it clear, make sure that no one can push themselves to the top of the oil pit there by placing down
a bomb has been located.
And now comes the part the Team Empire struggled with in the previous round. They've got control of the upper floor. Not really a whole lot of roaming presence to deal with at all here, coming out from Immortals this time. They're playing it pretty close to the chest on the sites. So this should leave Empire with a very healthy amount of room to start pushing towards the site, assuming they don't get delayed at one of these reinforced walls again like we saw happen on the last round.
And as you guys could see, though, the top of the church wall is actually shot out by Immortals due to the fact that they are going to try and impact trick that if that'll work out for them. Cyber, in the meantime of me talking, is going to find Joystick over on the blue stairs. That means no more Jackal. That's going to be decently large just due to the fact that means no more smoke grenades, which that can definitely change up around even though M&K is on that Maestro.
We've got Scyther moving in now. He's going to try and deal with what he can here on the Twitch drone. Be a little bit careful sneaking through the barbed wire since it'll slow him down a bit. But again, lots of good intel coming out here. An ADS that he could deal with relatively easily. Just trying to make sure that he prioritizes what's on the walls. Of course, though, as the second he shoots that out there, all eyes are going to be on that drone. Manages to knock out an ADS along with one of the mute jammers before it gets eliminated. And this should open up an opportunity for the Thermite, played by Shockwave on this round, to push himself forward and breach open the sidewall.
Yeah, plenty of time left in this round for them to open up that church wall and really have effect on this church site. PX all alone inside of here. M590 by his side. He's going to have to try and find some success. Scyther going to start things off right for Empire, though. This is starting to look like it's going to fall apart for Immortals. 2 concussions going to hit PX right in his face as he will take the prone angle with the shotgun, trying to prevent Moto, as well as Navis on the other side. His duo brother on the smoke with the M590 as well. Shepard going to start planning. Shockwave's actually going to go down. Is he planning the other site? He is. He's planted inside of Armory. I have no idea. The man's an absolute ghost as he's going to face through the wall. He's going to end up trying to pick up 2, but no. He's going to get down. It's all left up to Shepard. And Shepard versus M&K. He's going to take out the pistol. Is he going to win it? No! M&K going to clutch up. He's going to pick up his brethren as they will get the defuse and stretch out this clubhouse game even longer. And actually, he's going to let Navi's defuse. He's like, hey, you know what? You need points. I just clutched up. Everybody already knows. It's fine. All the GOAT. That's all you need to know.
So close, however, from Empire. The full focus on the A site leaves the armory undefended. It allows for the Zofia to walk right in. Unfortunately, Zofia was alone in that situation. Everyone else that was pushing to the inside of the church gets eliminated and is unable to assist in the late round there. While it was a very close attempt, of course, by Shepard, he will not be able to get the closeout, meaning Immortals continue their run to come back 2 rounds away from tying us up at 5-5.
Empire really had the pressure there to try and take that round as well. It really just did not go in their favor. I mean, it really seemed to me like all they really needed to do was hold the rotates on the back end side, the church wall / moto side, and hold that main hallway just to try and prevent them from rotating back. If they prevent that, then plant goes down without a hitch, and you more than likely win the round. You're cutting off the rotates. They can't cross the door at the end of the hallway, nothing along those lines. And I feel like that would have set them up a lot better for that execute.
Yeah, a little bit too much of an overfocus on the one hole that was busted open by their thermite. And obviously, again, it's the smoke that counters that out due to the little pressure that he had to deal with up to that point in the inside of the church. Saved those toxic bases for the very last second. It's a good thing that he did, because I also think the Team Empire kind of overbanked on the Claymore charge they'd put down, or that their thermite had placed down, leading into the church on actually getting someone. Because I think if they had found a killer, they might have decided to actually push that doorway and try to go for a more 2-tier take, but that never happened. We saw the closest thing was the smoke on the M590, or excuse me, the mute on the M590, trying to hold around the corner, but he never outright wanted to go for the push on that. And as a result, again, players on Empire never really felt safe to push that angle in their own minds.
That shotgun, man. That shotgun is so insane. It's ridiculous. It really reminds me of, I know that you didn't play it this time, but semi-autos used to shoot as far as those guns.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could just take pulse and just wallbang somebody through 2 walls. You're like, oh, cardiac sensor, and then kill them immediately. It was insane. But those M590s are just absolutely insane weapons, especially for a clutch like that when you're in close quarters. Definitely the weapon you want by your side. But it does look like Joystick's going to continue to rock the Jackal. No Ash play just yet. Come on, Joy. You know I want it. You know what? I didn't even talk to him, but I know he's doing this to me. He's probably like, Stokes probably wants to see me play Ash, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to play the PDW9 and have some fun on Jackal. But fantastic kit. Definitely, honestly, more utility than Ash has. I mean, she really only has 2 breaching charges, and that's about it. She's got a really good gun. That's really all that he really has. Joystick going to do his typical things. Get very aggressive. He's going to catch MKs. He's trying to get a Legion mine down. Oh, man, poor timing. He got it down, but now he's dead. I don't know if I take that trade.
Listen, it's all in the eye of the beholder, right? Oh. We are going to see the nice trade coming from Navi, who was lurking in the basement.
Joystick doesn't have any more eyes, so he really, yeah, I don't.
Didn't have that Guardian that we sometimes see him rocking around with there as he does his roaming business. Bullet finding another pickup as well. So Immortals now take the lead. Their roaming game finding quite a bit of impact this time around, and even the site players we saw in the case of Bullet. He wants to knock out another one from Empire. Most notably, knocking out Joystick in the early round is definitely a major boost to Immortals' confidence in their ability to shut things down here and bring it up to 4-5.
Yeah, and Immortals' biggest thing right now is they just need to focus on that site pressure. This is halfway through the round. You already have your 2 picks. Just make sure you maintain your utility as long as possible and just try and stay alive. That is your main thing. As long as you can consistently have just enough pressure on site to keep them from getting inside at this point in time, you will be perfectly fine. Their biggest thing right now is they have to worry about Shepard with these concussion mines. They can change up a battle completely. It messes up your entire sensitivity. It messes up everything. It makes a gunfight very, very hard. Basically, if you don't win it off of the angle that you're holding, there's no way that you're going to adjust and win that gunfight.
So the balcony door, of course, already wide open for these guys to play off of. Much like we saw with Immortals, though, the struggle is actually getting to the inside of it. Starting to force out some of the toxic babes now. I'm not sure if we saw an additional one used as of yet, so that would only be the first one we actually got to catch. If that's the case, Empire are looking at that same problem they've had in the last 2 rounds as well, where they just focus too much on a singular angle and don't have any other alternate angles to play off of when the first one gets smoked out.
Honestly, oh my goodness, Bullet, goodbye, son. My gosh, Scyther gonna take his head off for him. That is gonna open up the site a little bit more. It's a 3v3 now. They still have Jaeger being played by Cyber all the way over inside of Cash Room. Toxic Babes just now going off for the smoke of PX as well. And it looks like we might have a little bit of, you know, angle holding syndrome on both of these teams right now. Shockwave gonna move in. He's gonna get a refrag. Cyber gonna find one of his own. It's gonna be all left up to Shockwave with 2 seconds left. And there's nothing that's going to come up. Does Only a down. That's about it. But what I mean by angle holding syndrome, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that everyone is just delaying. They're looking for the word here. Help me out.
Gotta describe it a little more.
Delaying. My brain is completely off right now. Just shut down for a second.
Wasting time?
Wasting time. Not even that. It's just like, they're just not getting aggressive on site. They just immediately, when they're like, okay, we cleared everything, now we're just holding angles on site and hoping somebody messes up. You can't do that. You have to make adjustments, and they're not adjusting right now. They wasted an entire minute and 20 seconds staring at gym window. You can't do that, man. You got to make an adjustment. You got to go to main stairs. You have to do something to try and open up the defensive site for yourself. You can't just try and maintain an angle and hope that the defense messes up. That is not a viable thing to do. So I would like to see a little bit more adjustment by both teams. It's just very, very punishing to them right now. We've
got a high-five jamboree going on over here in the Immortals camp. Someone's
should we do it as well?
Yeah,
Get a high-five in here? There we go. I hope you guys heard that.
I think that got on stream.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll do one too.
Don't worry, we'll wait till the camera comes back up. It'll be fine.
So, of course, as you guys can see, Team Empire has chosen to take their timeout now, which should be expiring in about a minute or two here. Very much the same issues that we were seeing from Immortals, although to a bit of a lesser extent, in my opinion. Basically, just struggling with that very late push and
stall. That's the one.
Yeah, most notably dealing with the smoke push, right? Because they always open up one huge angle for these guys to play off of, but it always gets smoked out. That's happened on all three of the sites so far. And it's going to keep happening. There's no reason for them to switch away from that. And, of course, we've gone around the wheel, so we're heading back over to the 2F site, CCTV and Cash Room, the site we originally played for one of the final rounds of regulation here. As once again, players on Immortals are going to try to do that one more time to see if they can close out themselves.
Yeah. Stall was the word I was looking for, by the way.
Yeah.
I found it.
Okay.
I was about to, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, I was about to be like, delay synonym in Google and be like, hey, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for?
The last production to get you with Thesaurus. For,
yeah, exactly. I just need to hit the talkback button and be able to just talk to our producer. Yeah. Like, hey, can you please give me a word that sounds smart, that sounds like this? That's what I need. We need that. We need that. That'd be fantastic as a cast, just be like, hey, I really want to sound smart here.
Get a linguistic expert.
What is a better word for this is terrible? Like, you know, that's not considered.
You had it as well with the first word you said. Anyway, moving on once again, as we said before, CCTV. Ooh, this is.
You know what that is? You know what that is? They're going to use this evil eye to try and get everything off of garage. So when they try and put thermites or anything down on the garage door, that evil eye is going to shoot all the way across, and it's going to take out anything that they try and put on that garage door down there. Oh. That is so smart.
That is genius.
It's the Russians.
We have to see if the angle will work though, because obviously
it can't get that right door. There's no way it can get that right door. We'll have to see.
Very curious to see how this plays out now.
I don't know who's. I think Marcio is on the main one, but whoever's spectating this, if we could get on M and K when that starts to go down in garage, really appreciate that. Okay.
So here's the angle. Oh yeah, so as you said, the right doorway obviously blocked by the truck, but the left doorway. Oh, okay.
Well, goodbye.
Right. Well, moving on.
That's inconvenient. I don't even know.
All that build up. I'm so disappointed.
I don't even know what happened right there.
I'm so disappointed.
Did that thing get ash charged from like across the way? Because Joystick had a drone over there. I think he ash charged it from like the other roof.
Oh.
Oh my.
Because there was no one at the door.
No.
So it's not like someone saw it and shot it.
All right.
Interesting.
Oh, Joystick was okay. No, Joystick's inside.
Oh, he ashed
of Strip Club.
Yeah, he did ash it. Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, Joystick's on ash at least.
Yeah, Joystick's just all the way over in Narnia right now.
It was the perfect time, too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he found the evil eye. And honestly, that utility could have came up huge if they're going to try and take garage from underneath, because you do not want to try and get those right panels open and rotate through there, because they're going to shoot you from the window. So you really want to go from the absolute underneath section and try and take from there. And, I mean, that definitely could have came up huge, but Joystick's going to find that.
So we've got Joystick's going to move through construction in a moment, and this will probably open up an opportunity for Scyther to come with him, too. He's already moved Karzeka in through the downstairs portion of the map. And of course, had him join up with him through the main stairs, too. So we've got two players in construction ready for a push. They did the same thing on the last run, though, and this is what eventually led to the smoke delay. This time, though, Joystick's going to be much more straightforward with it and take smoke out before the fight even begins. Navi's going out at the beginning. Excuse me, takes the mute out at the beginning. PX still alive and well, though, so that smoke charge is potentially going to be an issue for the late round. Shockwave, of course, still looking for his own impact now that the wall has been opened up for these guys. But again, time is starting to become an issue, as it has been for the majority of this map.
They've been quite punishing Shockwave. holding a tight angle right now through the open service wall that he did himself. Joystick all the way downstairs right now as well, as they really need to find some pressure, a little bit of footing on this site. They really don't have too much of it right now. Garage could still potentially be an issue, as it seems like most of them are focused over on the construction side of things. Joystick gonna find Legion out and about, but Cyber gonna be put down downstairs as Joystick's going to try and push the main stairs. He's going to punch the barb. No bullet's going to make contact from him from Bullet, which is surprising because the name would match up appropriately. But no, Joystick going to get found by PX and that beautiful M590 once again. He's been doing absolute work with that shotgun so far on defense. Shockwave going to get aggressive. He's going to find one. The diffuser starts to go down as Karzeka. Shockwave with two. Karzeka putting the diffuser down still, and Shepard going to clean everything up. Empire gonna get match point, ladies and gentlemen. Only one more round to win the first map of this series.
Nice hold by Shepard, catches that final push to attempt to interrupt the plant and win on the timer, but it'll be no success for Immortals. Empire finally picking up their own attacking round on the 4th. And we'll look, of course, to close out, as you mentioned, with just one final round needed, then to take the opening map 7-4. CCTV will be re-attempted again, it looks like, by the players on Immortals instead of moving forward to the next site in basement.
They really just got bunched up there at the end of that defense, and that's really what punished them. I honestly think that PX thought that his angle was covered by Bullet at the top of the stairs. He's like, okay, I can try and contest inside of Cash. Bullet can hold my angle if somebody tries to take this wall. Well, little do they know, Shockwave, lying out in the weeds, just walks inside, picks up the kill on a PX, opens up the site completely to where they can just freely walk in, and Empire picks up their first round on offense.
And that was an incredibly close round, though, so it does make sense to see Immortals going back to the site, probably realize the minor mistakes that were made by them over the course of it, so just look to very quickly correct that and try to bring this up 5-6. Now looking for overtime, so unfortunately Immortals no longer have a way to close this down in regulation.
Also, Joystick took the kitty gloves off, if you noticed.
When he went to Ash?
Yeah. He's like, all right, guys, all right, you're getting a little bit too cocky, okay? We're gonna have to switch over to the Ash real quick.
He's gone to his final form.
Yep, exactly.
He wanted to save that for the crowd on the weekend, but wasn't left with a choice.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, all right, these Immortal guys, they're trying to play me for a fool right now.
The Jackal just doesn't have the same feel, you know?
It really doesn't, though, you know? I mean, I don't know if it's just the gun or what, but like honestly, their damage margins are almost the same, and they have the same exact mag capacity. I don't know why Ash feels so much better than Jackal, because I'm a filthy Ash Jaeger main. So like, I don't know, dude. It just feels so much better. It's weird. It's a very, very weird thing. I think it's just a comfort thing, just because she's been in the game for so long.
Well, of course, he'll drone for himself a little bit here as he's looking to move in, I believe, on his own as well.
This is exactly what they did last time. They just had him clear over from Strip Club and move his way on over, while the other site, on the other side of the map, the other part of the team handled everything else and started getting pressure on site. I think that they're mainly doing this just due to the fact that Joystick can... Okay, PX. There's a drone hole there, buddy.
You hate to see that.
Yeah, you really do. It's those... Shockwave's like, yes, you do hate to see that, don't you? Don't you? Oh my goodness. Yeah, but I think the main reason they have Joystick starting over there is a lot of the rotates are through bar, and he's able to close those down. Just like we saw last time with Legion. Legion got caught out downstairs over near, I believe it was Lounge. He actually ended up getting caught out, and Joystick was able to get that kill and really open up the aggression on the site, because I knew that there was no roaming going on. So Joystick's been playing pretty much by himself so far this game on offense.
Once again, he'll be the first to pop open into the site this time around here. Still plenty of room to go, of course, and nearly finds himself picked off, but survives, dodges out of the way, attempts to return the damage, but not a whole lot of success is found there. Still with Empire having the man advantage, though, certainly going to lean into their favor, especially considering that PX was the one player to get knocked out through that drone hole earlier on. Probably the worst player they could have lost in that situation due to how effective the smoke charges have been up to this point.
Toxic Babe's always such an important utility, and to lose it that early, definitely punishing. But I would like to point out the one main thing right now is Empire has a pretty good grip on this site. They're contesting very well. All they have to do is get an initial pick here, and things are really going to start to pop off. Joystick trying to find that now in the likes of Navi on the mute, as they are playing safe on this defensive round for themselves, which is smart. They are lighting up the entire wall, as Scyther will be able to find bullets. And that's going to be the Legion, but MK going to be able to refrag that one with the Alda. Such a fantastic weapon. Once again, Navi is going to find Shepard. It is a 3v3. Nothing less expected out of a defensive team, but oh my goodness, Navi's going to get aggressive. Shockwave going to put him down. it is going to be all left up to Cyber and MK.
This is once
the last
again,
defensive operators.
Yeah, it's going to end up coming down to the wire for yet another round here as Empire is forced into push. Joystick is sacrificed, but we do see one player make it through. Problem is M-King's able to chain into a double kill, knocks out Shockwave. It's all on Karzeka. He has it in Gumind, and he will attempt to take it out for a second there. Cancels it, of course, but it won't matter. Cyber shuts it down, and the Immortals bring us to the end of regulation with their chance to tie it up 6-6 and send us into overtime.
Overtime on Clubhouse? What? That's crazy. That was an extreme amount of sarcasm, by the way, guys. This happens pretty often just due to the fact of how the map is. I mean, being defensive-sided, it really makes comebacks like this pretty easy, as you guys are seeing by Immortals right now. And that's no slander towards them. They're playing it very well. They're playing Clubhouse exactly how Clubhouse is supposed to be played. They're doing decently on their roam game, and even these last couple of rounds, they've even just held on site. They just turtled. Like, okay, you guys don't have control of garage. You got to take from construction. And you know what sucks about the site? Taking from construction. So, and another thing is that Empire's really been stuck in their ways as well. There hasn't been a glass pick. There hasn't been a Dokkaebi pick. I mean, they had the Jackal for a little bit, but if you want to try and take that garage area, you have to have nades and utility to try and just burrow out anybody that's playing upstairs on the catwalk.
Very much a story of frontrunners right now when it comes to the stats as well. M-King and Cyber very much leading the charge for Immortals. Meanwhile, it's basically just Shockwave with Scyther and Joystick lagging behind a little bit over on the side of Empire. Of course, into the basement for what will be the final round of regulation, since we finally saw Empire picking up an attacking round on the first attempt to play at CCTV. Of course, still a chance for Empire to close this down, and if you remember, they got relatively close the last time we played into basement as well. Once again, just came down to the denial from the smoke played by Navi's. Very well done job by him of blocking off the wall. And the fact that Empire chose not to push a secondary angle whatsoever. They even got the plant off, and that came in from Shepard on the Zofia as he snuck into the site seemingly out of nowhere, but without any additional man support there after he actually got the plant. He would eventually lose the 1v2.
I can't help but stare at all the German soccer ball flags now after that earlier experience with just it flopping everywhere. I don't really know what happened there. But Joystick, this is pretty much what Joystick's known for. And Navi's going to exactly counteract that. As soon as he sees the drone, he knows it's going to be followed up by Joystick just due to the footsteps. And he's going to, you know, give Joystick a very warm welcoming with some bullets.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's really just a single bullet, or shell, I guess you'd say in the case of a shotgun.
It's pellets.
Yeah, you just gotta be careful. There's people that are particular about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably already got 2 tweets complaining about calling it a bullet, so.
It's a shotgun shell.
Yeah, it's a shell, sorry.
It's a shell, my
I'm aware of how gun terms work.
Yeah, it's kind of like people that say magazine or whatever.
Yeah, it's magazine when it's a clip or vice versa. Yeah.
Vice versa, yeah.
We don't really use clips anymore as far as I understand. They're like 99% of the time just magazines, so. Or there's a clip in the magazine, so. It gets very confusing very fast.
Just know people shoot each other.
Yeah,
like, that's it. Like, bullets come out of the gun,
you pull a trigger, a bullet comes out. That's about all I know.
That's really it. That's
so,
really it.
Again, the increased speed from Empire this time is very much apparent. They've already got hatches open. They're already trying to push players downstairs, and they kind of have to do this now because of the lack of Joystick. They don't have anywhere near the entry power they would have had previously. So as a result of that, they're obviously having to speed things up a little bit more, but they know as well they've struggled with timing in the past rounds, and specifically on this site. So that's also why they're trying to get specifically Shockwave into a position to try and breach this wall again.
Yeah, and they have sped up quite a lot, which is good, because before they were kind of following the same tracks of Immortals, where they were taking a very, very long time to try and get anything happening on site. But doing a better job of that now as Shockwave is laying down inside of Church. Very close to having a gunfight with Legion here. As Legion will back off as soon as some soft destruction happens above him. And they're really looking to try and get this mute jammer off right now. This is going to be the biggest deal that they're going to have to deal with trying to take on this side of the map right now. Just due to the fact that Shockwave is not going to be able to open this wall with that mute jammer there. He might be able to get it if he plays it very, very tight inside of this corner. You guys heard the click.
Yep.
That's not going to be it.
Rip that off the wall. And of course, here come the smoke charges since the Toxic Babes, since time is getting incredibly low and Empire just hasn't been able to push themselves forward. Nowhere near the effectiveness on the Twitch right there, but Karzeka finds a nice shot to the inside of the Arsenal. Toxic Babes still in the way and blocking their path through the Memorial, however, so that is not an option for them. M-King just sitting here patiently waiting for that push to actually happen, but as you can see, time getting lower. They'll try to push down the main hallway, which is really a last-ditched effort here. A 2-for-1 trade in the favor of Navi. Leaves only one more standing, and with Cyber and PX cleaning up those last 2 kills, Immortals will take this to overtime to settle map number 1.
Ah, Clubhouse, man. Clubhouse. I mean, their main thing right there is that just the entire defense was so hard stuck on what side of the map they were on. The issue that people have with executions inside of this game is that they don't get them done fast enough. Execution is all about timing and being able to do it quick enough to where the defense cannot adjust. The main thing that they're having issues with right now is, for instance, they have Shockwave jump all the way down. He's playing right outside the church wall, and he just lays there for 30 seconds. And they're like, okay, hey, by the way, it's muted.
Just waiting for the twitch.
We're just gonna lay here, and then we're not gonna do anything for a solid minute. And the defense goes, okay, there's somebody here. It's obvious because it's thermite, so they're going to just push from this side. So they just adjust all of their chess pieces over to the one side. And they're like, okay, try and push. You can't. There's too much utility. So it's all about timing and being able to burn utility on these executions. Both of these teams failing at that on offense right now.
Well, here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen. As we're going to stick with the same sides, and we're actually going to attempt the same exact site once again. Immortals feeling good about their holds here, and they should. They've absolutely been crushing it on the basement site so far. It's going to be up to Empire to change their own game, come up with a way to push ahead. Now in overtime, they have the chance to fall behind and allow for Immortals to take the lead here, starting off on defense.
10 seconds to go.
Just in case you guys are wondering, since this is on the new rule set, it'll be the first to 8. We do not have infinite inside of the group stage, but it will be the first to 8. So it would be Immortals defense, then Empire defense, then Immortals defense. So Immortals is kind of in the driver's seat right now. Empire has to win an offensive round, which is going to be quite the tall task.
Yeah, very much the case, and that is the advantage or disadvantage that are going to be handed as a result of having to start on defense on this map, and of course the lead that they had and eventually squandered to bring us to where we are now at 6-6. Joystick again is going to attempt to play over here towards the window this time, actually a little bit different than we saw previously. He's going to look for an early kill if it's possible. Knows he gets some resistance, so he'll send in the drone instead just to check things out so we can have a better idea about what to play against here. Even goes upside down, as you can see. It's a little bit more vision to the inside of blue as a result of that, and hopefully the player sitting behind the big metal unit there. But at this point, no reason for that player to peek, so they will sit back and have to wait.
Yeah, just play your life. That is the biggest thing on defense, especially for your side players. You need that utility for that late round execute denial. And I mean, they've been doing a beautiful job of that so far. That's why you guys have seen so much success on the defense. Clubhouse is pretty hard to mess up on the defense as long as you have utility. So as long as you're able to play together as a team, keep your utility alive, everything should fall into your favor. But Empire seems to be doing a much better job this time around of keeping everybody up and, you know, moving. They are only going to get 2 pellets down though, and bullets! What a shot onto Karzeka. There's only 1 man left alive with Hard Breach, and that's going to be Shockwave. He's only got 1 Texas Dynamite, or Thermite charge. But I prefer Texas Dynamite.
And we'll have Joystick dropping down into Oil Pit as well to regroup with the rest of his team and hopefully try to knock out this player that's sitting in the back of blue. I believe he has a way to retreat, unfortunately. So even if he gets enough pressure on him, he could run right through the wall. But hold on, wait a second.
Oh, he saw the foot.
The foot, but he was single tapping, so the spray messes it up. Doesn't really end up doing much damage at all. I think he did about 20 to M King there, but we'll be forced back to the inside of the oil pit now. Thankfully, still 50 seconds left, so we can just chill here and re-engage after about 10 or 15 seconds when they think he's gone. Meanwhile, the wall in the church still has not been breached open. This is the same issue Empire running into on the last round. It's taken them to the very last second to even get access to one of the sites. Moving in, though, Shockwave finds success. He's able to knock out Bullet. Joystick looking for the same thing. A flash around the corner, but no, it's ADS. It's a safe territory for the player on the other side, for specifically M King to play into now. As he continues to hold this and the timer runs down, Joystick finds one more. He's going to go for a second, knocks him down and gets the kill. Joystick is going wild right now, and it might just win them the round. Shockwave will go for the plant. Scyther finds a kill. It's all down to the mute on PX. He takes damage, and Joystick will finish it off as we see Empire cut ahead, finally taking an attacking round here on the basement at the beginning of overtime.
The man, the myth, the legend, Joystick, gonna be winning that round for him, and that entire push all depended on if Joystick lived or died, and he did more than that. He found 2. And what a way to do it. Was not scared of that Maestro peeking him at all. Just immediately peeks into the Jaeger, knows we're going to be holding his angle on that door. What What a way to finish off that round. And that is the offensive round that they needed. They're on defense now, and this is very winnable for Empire.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of Joystick when he finally activates there. So, switching it, as you said, over to the defense, they'll play on to the catch room and CCTV once again as they switch back over to that. Joystick will be switching to his usual Jaeger, and besides this, it looks like the setup is going to remain relatively similar to what they played in their regulation rounds on this site as well.
Just what a beautiful, beautiful way to win that round. That was insane. That was insane. That was, I mean, and the man's died 11 times too. That's the one thing. Like Joystick, he's grinding these kills out, ladies and gentlemen. He's died almost every single round. He's died every round except one.
It's definitely hit or miss. Yeah, that's the thing. However, inside of that round, the impact that he finds makes it worth it, and that justifies his obviously less successful rounds when he makes impact like that happen.
Yeah, it's all about impact frags that we love to talk about, you know. So the exit frags are the exact opposite. That's where it's like, hey, it's a 1v5, I pick up 3 and lost. Those kills mean nothing. But those kills right there absolutely mean something. Even if Joystick had 5 kills right now, that is a massive win just because it helps you win that round. That's the difference between those impact kills and your exit frags, as we like to call them.
You might have noticed the adjustment from Immortals too. Finally bringing a Twitch into the fold here, finally, due to the issues that they were having in regulation. We talked about, I think you brought up specifically about how a Twitch would have been really helpful to try and deal with the mute jammers, which are really the only way to stop thermite or Hibana breaches. But previously they were not using that, and they suffered a lot as a result of not bringing it into the table. So this time they're going to change it up, and Navi's will actually be bringing it to the table here for Immortals, seeing if they can find some effectiveness out of those drones.
Oh man, they might be able to find Joystick here, but no, Joystick going to find Bullet. Is he going to be able to find 2? He has so much contention on this blue stairs. It's actually insane. I don't understand how he lives through so much stuff. And as soon as I say that, Caster's Curse, Cyber, going to put Joystick down on the blue stairs. So no more Joystick, but he did get their only soft destruct in the likes of Buck. No more grenades, no more soft destruction in the Skeleton Key. This round just got opened up completely wide by that frag by Joystick.
Knocked off about 1/3 of Cyber's HP too in the final 1v1 he took, which he obviously lost, but still, it's going to be an easier time of taking out Cyber, who has been a bit of a pain in these more standard gunfights for the guys on Team Empire. So if he's going to be easier to knock out, that's still going to be a pretty advantageous position for these guys to work off of. And again, we are seeing Immortals run into that similar issue where they're struggling to get any site control. But as long as they take this within the next 30 seconds or so, they'll still be in a good position. I'm just worried considering how the previous rounds have played out. Doc, of course, playing into the pinhole and easy to eye on the drone. That should give away his position, of course, but if anybody runs in, they're going to be walking right into his crosshairs at this point. The wall outside, meanwhile, you can hear it to the left being breached. Doc not moving, not phasing an inch, because in fact the wall doesn't even look like it got open. No, it's another wall, and instead gets popped. Ooh, but a very aggressive move from Shockwave bites back against him. Navi's is able to pick up that kill. Puts Empire into a losing position now at 3v4, relying pretty much on their site defenders solely. Scyther, some nice intel, does spot out the Jackal, being played by Cyber. No one ready to engage on that yet, so of course he won't be firing the charge from the drone.
Karzeka is still maintaining this tight angle up here on the catwalk, not finding too much success just yet. They know he's there. They're both trying to find bullets through a very tight angle, but Karzeka, oh my goodness, PX is going to be able to clean that up, but that kill can definitely not go unnoticed by Karzeka. What a flick onto the main garage stairs. Shepard still has 3 toxic babes to try and delay. They each delay 10 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, so this is plenty of time left for him to try and delay the rest of this round out. They're going to have to try and push through the toxic babes. Not too much health on the offense. Scyther will prove me right. MK going down. No health left on him. And Scyther going to take Cyber's head off as well. Shepard in the gunfight with PX. It's all left up to him to try and clutch up this round. 2 seconds left. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Shepard on the PX as Empire will win map number 1.
Big congratulations to Empire. Need some massive individual plays coming out there, and most importantly, really, really good trades. Even though we were often seeing players only pick up 1 or 2 kills in that final round, the kills they were finding were massive impact frags that really opened up opportunities for remaining teammates to really close out the round in the fashion they did. They got a chokehold onto the remaining Immortals players that were sitting on the inside, and that were trying to push themselves